Hey, Arcturus here. Today we're looking at the Mandalorian's N-1 Starfighter from Lego Star Wars. This is set 75442 and part of the Ultimate Collector series. Builds a very nice N-1 Starfighter. This ship is very similar to the Naboo Starfighter from Episode 1 that Anakin pilots. However, that's in a bright yellow, and this is in a nice silver and gray color scheme. This ship comes from the Mandalorian TV show, which I have not seen. I have not watched any of that. I just thought the ship looked pretty good. I like the silver color scheme better than the yellow, although I will talk a little bit about the color scheme on this one. So let's get that box out of the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's take a closer look at this. So I like the Starfighter. It was fun to put together. I think it looks really good. It does make use of some stickers. But it only has the one sticker sheet here, and everything was relatively reasonable for stickers. There was nothing that really felt like, okay, you could print this instead. You do build a very nice stand for the ship. I'll just slide this a little out of the way here. And it comes with a nice printed plaque. It's not a sticker. It is printed. It does have that sort of pinhole mark there in the center. But it is printed, so it's not a sticker, which is a plus in my book. So you do have nice line here between the silver and the gray. Makes use of some stickers here to get that angle on these pieces. But it's mostly tiled off, very few studs, except on the wings and some here for this. You build some nice blasters here for the front. Also have some pieces on the sides of each of the engines. This engine turbine is also a printed piece, which is very nice. So we'll just kind of go up from the front. I definitely think it looks really good from the front here. And then as you just come up, you get some nice sort of internal open sections, and you get some of that on the engines as well, which we'll look at in a moment. Then you get to the cockpit, which unfortunately does have this piece as a sticker. Then you get to Grogu's seating area as well, which just detaches very easily, so you can slide Grogu in and out if you want. Get some stickers here on the tail, and then you build the back end out of a few light pieces to get to the front there. This back piece is that sort of half standard Lego piece with the half rubbery, so it does flop a little bit, which I think is a-okay. I will point out that these little single stud connection pieces are relatively easy to pop off if you bump it. However, since this is a display piece more so than a playset, I think it's okay for the most part. Let's take a look at the side profile. Obviously, you build two engines. We'll look at the engines closer in a moment. You do get a thruster here on the bottom using a blue circular piece with some clips so you can make the engine look decent there. Being a display set, some of these are a little more fragile than you would want for a play set. It does have the spot for the stand right here as well. Side view here as well of the back portion, and then as it kind of comes back into view. These are attached surprisingly well. They don't seem to be popping off when I've moved it around so far. The engines are built differently, which is nice. Partly nice just for the building process because you get to do something different as opposed to some of the kits where you're doing the same thing multiple times because that's just how the build is. And then the other one is slightly different, and I'll pop those off. They just attach to those Technic pins. So let me set this down real quick. Balance that on there. And we'll pop both engines off and we'll take a look. From our view, this is the left side engine. You get some nice detail on the interior. They really put a lot of thought into this to make it look good, and I really think they succeeded on this. Bottom of the engine is just solid, and then you have all the details on the inside, and of course you have some silver here for the intake of the turbines. And you have the little blue line in there, kind of the engine heat going through it. And then for the right side, a little more covered. And from what I could see of the images in the show, this is a pretty accurate representation of what you see in the show. I did have to look those up separately. You get some nice tubing there that you can see, and you get some like internals of the engine. I think it's just really solid. And they attach, just like I said, with the 2 Technic pins. These plates actually attach to this pin here, but it's not super crucial to the integrity of the build there, if they actually attach or not. And if you were wondering what it looks like with one of those tile pieces taken off, this is how it goes. So just slides right back on there. All right, now we got all those pieces back on. So as I said, it was a fun thing to put together. It looks pretty good. I would say that the difference between the silver and the gray is pretty stark. From what I could see looking this up online, that was a bit closer in color than it is in Lego. Now, some of that's, I mean, you're kind of stuck with what Lego pieces exist, but I think it might have been better if they had done more silver throughout the build. It would just look a little less sharp on this ridgeline, because the colors in the show are a bit closer to like this darker gray than this silver. But overall, I think it's pretty decent. Personally, I don't like the look of these parts, those extensions off the engine there. They look fine in the show, but I think in Lego, you're just getting too small for stuff to look quite right in the Lego, but that's just my personal thoughts on that. The back does twist a little bit. You can kind of see right now how it's twisted because it's just attached to 2 round, those rods. There's not a lot to keep it exactly straight. So if you move it around, you might bump some of those. However, it's pretty solid as builds go. It's not very fragile. I mean, it is a UCS set, so it's display more than a play set. So it is more fragile than a play set version of this would be, because it's not really designed to be picked up and moved around, but it's overall pretty solid. You do get Grogu and Din Djarin as minifigures. We can take a look at the plaque as well. A nice printed plaque for this N-1 Starfighter for display, if that is how you want to use it. And I don't think that's centered, but I'll fix it later. Pretty standard Baby Yoda figure. Just molded torso with the smaller head. Works pretty well. And then we have the Mandalorian. He also comes with pistols, but I set them somewhere else. So I won't be showing those in this there. They were just the standard Lego pistol or blaster pistol. Helmet does have the helmet holes, which is a shame. But you do get some nice arm printing there, and you get some very nice detail here on the front for his armor. Cape as well, and some detail there on the back. Looks very similar to other Din Djarin minifigures, and of course he only has the one-sided face printing in case you wanted to run him with his helmet off, but why would you? So one thing I don't like about this set is if you want to display it with the figure in, you have to leave the cockpit off. It won't click into place because his helmet distorts the... So I wasn't sure if maybe the cape was causing the issue, so I did try it with that off as well. And if you put them in there, you know, it doesn't stay, right? You know, I tried a couple things. I tried squishing him further into the seat, and it just doesn't attach. And I know sometimes in some of these sets you need a different angle to get the figure in there, but he just doesn't fit with the helmet on. Which it just needs like one additional layer of height, and it would fit just fine. But the only way he fits is without the helmet, which is very disappointing. However, Grogu fits just fine in his spot. You do have to wiggle around the ears, but that's not too bad. It is just annoying that he doesn't fit with his helmet on. But overall, I mean, the build is fun. Of course it is, it's Lego. Probably just goes without saying at this point. You know, the build is fun, and overall I think the ship looks really good. So I'm not too disappointed with that. Just a few things that would have been nice for improvements. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.